Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers. If you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money. So we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
Welcome to Radio Free Endor. My name is Jonathan, and joining me today is Nicki.
Hello.
So we are finally back. A lot of stuff going on, wrapping up the semester for me. Hopefully I won't sound too nasally. A lot better than yesterday.
Yeah, you sound fine today.
And the day before, but we were trying to record the other day, and I just sounded so...
It was a little frangessery, I have to say.
Wow, nice word.
But
yeah, just a lot of stuff has been going on, but of course, and a lot of Star Wars stuff has been going on in the last, few weeks, last month or so, and of course, so, we talked about the title on Rebels Cast, for about 10 minutes, but we have yet to dive into, Force Awakens teaser trailer.
Oh, yes.
So what are your initial thoughts with that?
Well, I watched it 5 times in a row the first day it was released. And it was just like every time I saw something new to get excited about. It was definitely a good teaser because as excited as I was to see the film anyway, it made me even more excited because it just looks so amazing and so crisp, and the effects, it looks so natural. I love the progression that we've made in CGI, and I love how many practical effects that JJ uses. So, I'm just like, it just made me just jump up and down on the couch, and I'm serious, I actually did that. So, how about you?
Yeah, same here. Of course, I'm of a different generation, so I don't really remember a whole lot about the prequel trailers, but I just vaguely remember, just kind of seeing them in the theater, but, back then, I wasn't like sitting to like the very waiting for that trailer to drop.
Right, it wasn't really done that way for the prequels even. We got the trailer in front of some movies, and I remember buying tickets to one of the movies that the Phantom Menace trailer was in front of, because they didn't release the teasers, and then walking out right after because I didn't want to see whatever.
Yeah, I don't think my mom would have.
Movie.
Yeah, I don't think my mom would have done that.
Yeah, I did that, I think, for all 3 of them, but I can't really remember that. I know I did it for Phantom Menace because it was the first one in so long, and I cried because it just looked so cool. And in that trailer, I got everything I love about Star Wars, and just kind of like in the Force Awakens trailer, I pretty much got everything I love about Star Wars. I got the lightsaber, I got the Millennium Falcon, I got the X-Wings, and I got mystery, and I like that. I like that JJ's not giving too much away. Because there's so many times you see a trailer and basically go, oh, I don't need to see the movie anymore. I know exactly what's going to happen. I have no idea what's happening in this film.
Yeah, and the thing is that it was very, very unique kind of teaser trailer,
Yes.
How it's just like, some clips and then dark, I want to see more of the clip, but nope, we only give you a little bit.
Yeah, I want to see what that X-Wing was doing. When we see Oscar Isaac in the X-Wing, and I want to know what John Boyega is afraid of when he pops up in that Stormtrooper uniform, and what is the Falcon doing? And I want one of those little ball droids like right now.
Yes.
I was like, oh, when's that figure coming out? Because I want to own that action figure.
So the trailer starts out with, of course, it's been confirmed that it's Andy Serkis. Mm-hmm. Saying there has been an awakening. Of course, like everything else, Benedict Cumberbatch, is going to be the first person they jump. But I think there was an article about Andy Serkis 10 different things, and apparently his voice did not go through any voice changer or anything. It was just him.
Yeah, it's kind of like how he did Gollum in The Lord of the Rings. There was no voice alteration. That was just Andy.
Right. And it's also says that an unspecified character, of course, but he's not going to be doing multiple characters apparently.
Right.
Just one.
But it is motion capture or performance capture rather.
Right.
He's pretty much confirmed that, which is very cool because he's like the master at that, and they used his company to do it. I still long for more Andy Serkis in films because he is such a remarkable actor without the CGI, without the performance capture. So, but that voice was just so creepy, and you couldn't tell if it was a Sith voice or a Jedi or something else, and I like the ambiguity of that.
Right.
It just made me happy to hear Andy.
I know there was another thing he was surprised about is that it says the actors knew these lines would be in the trailer, and apparently, but Andy Serkis, he didn't know how large a role he would be in the 88 second. Apparently, he's all over it.
Yeah, it's pretty much, it's him. He's narrating the teaser.
I think it's interesting how, actors, only certain people know, everything,
Mm-hmm.
And even actors, even if they know the basic, even if they know the story and all, there's still little aspects of it,
Right, they try to keep some things, that only, JJ knows, or only the director, the producers, and the writers know. So that way, everybody kind of gets a little surprise. And I think that's a lot how they did it on the original trilogy, was not everybody knew what the other guys were doing, especially like an Empire, because the cast was separated for the first time, with Luke on Dagobah and the others on the Falcon, and then Cloud City. It's like they did their own thing. Harrison and Carrie and Peter Mayhew, they did their own thing. They didn't know what Mark Hamill was doing because they were in England part of the time, and Mark was shooting a lot of the Dagobah stuff in California because a lot of that was shot in somebody's pool. I think it was George's pool at the time.
Right, and apparently, Ain't It Cool News brings up to the Ancient Fear. That the title would be the Ancient Fear, and apparently there was never possibility that it was that until we got the title The Force Awakens. It was just called Episode 7.
Right. Which I still hope is part of the title, just because it's continuity. But I also I understand that it's just kind of a given.
Yeah, I think it'll be on the open crawl.
Yeah, I agree. I'm very much looking forward to what the crawl will be too.
Yes.
Great. Something else I have to memorize.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it about these 10 questions. This is
the Andy Serkis article.
Yeah, the Andy Serkis article. I don't have the website. I copied and pasted the.
It's Entertainment Weekly.
Oh yeah, of course. And they're also the people that gave the different names, and we'll kind of. It's kind of interesting how we waited to talk about the trailer. Now we have the names, so we don't have to just say John Boyega's character.
Right. We could say Finn.
So yeah, so that's really the first. It was definitely interesting how they introduced the characters in the form of these Topps cards.
Right. I thought that was fantastic because I still have some of my Topps cards from the originals, from Empire and Jedi, and they look exactly like that, only better quality photographs. Yeah. So as a uber nerd from the originals, I thought that was just the perfect way, and I hope that they actually release those because just seeing graphics of them was cool, but I think actually holding them will be even cooler. So hopefully they'll release them in that format and not just go with the newer format of trading cards.
Right. And it's a very thing where it's just there's been an awakening. You just see the stands. We're going to assume Tatooine, and then we suddenly just see John Boyega's character Finn just popping up, and you see this him just breathing hard, and we see perspiration. It's one of the few times we see it.
Yeah.
In the Star Wars galaxy.
Right, and he's on Tatooine. It's been confirmed that it's Tatooine, and he's in a stormtrooper uniform. It's a little hot. I've worn those before.
Oh yeah, I bet.
They are not lightweight.
And of course in the background we hear a Imperial probe droid.
Oh yes. So somebody is looking for Finn, and there's rumors because I was reading this rumor on I think it was Screen Rant that he's on the run, and there's someone chasing after him, trying to track him down, and that someone is Gwendolyn Christie's character, who we don't know the name of.
Yes, I've heard that too.
So she might be this new character, Captain Phasma, is what I read. That she's an Imperial officer hunting down Finn. Maybe he's not really a stormtrooper, he just was wearing the suit, kind of a la Luke and Han in Episode 4. Or maybe he's just realized, I don't want to be a stormtrooper anymore, and she's hunting him down because he knows too much. So.
Yeah, I mean, one possibility, one theory I have is, like, maybe he realized that he has those,
yeah.
or something.
Yeah, he could be a Force sensitive or a Force user.
And he's jumping ship now.
Right, maybe she's one of the Inquisitors, because I know that there's rumors that we've only met one Inquisitor in Rebels, and that there will be more.
Yeah,
Inquisitors.
Yeah, it's very curious about, like, how much of the Empire is going to be left.
Right, because obviously some of it is left, because we have the Stormtroopers, and I think pretty much it's going that way, that it's still a battle between the good and the evil Empire. Right. So whether we have a New Republic, or if we still are having to do battle with the last vestiges of the Empire.
Yeah, I just don't want it to kind of go to the EU, where, like, eventually we get to, like, the Jedi Council falling, and then we get, like, new, like, Sith Order and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to follow anything from the EU.
Where everything kind of, like, repeats itself.
Right.
It just kind of just goes in a circle.
Yeah, I really have a lot of faith in Kathleen Kennedy, head of Lucasfilm, and with JJ, and Ryan Johnson, who's going to direct Episode 8. I think that they're avoiding the EU like the plague, and they'll do something original, which is why I like the directors they've chosen, is because these are all directors who do really great original work, even within the confines of a mythology, like JJ did with Star Trek. Right. And Ryan Johnson with Looper and Brick. I mean, he's just a fantastic original filmmaker. So I don't think we're going to see a lot of references or throwbacks to the EU or anything. I think it's all going to be quite original.
I agree. So next thing we see, I believe, is the which was originally called Soccer Ball Droid. Because if you look closely at the big ball, it kind of looks like a soccer ball.
It really does, and it has the markings of, like, the World Cup balls, which I know because my nephews have several of those. So. Yes, we now know that our little soccer ball droid, his name is BB-8.
Yes.
And he is a practical effect. He is not CGI.
That's what Mark Hamill said.
And he said he got to play with it. I'm like, I want one! Right. It's just so cute. I think it's a really unique design. And I never would have thought of that. It's almost like his head is not attached to the ball part.
And I think there's been some speculation that it's actually, Daisy Ridley's character, Rey's droid.
Right.
Her little helper.
She's on Tatooine, and I love the new speeder bike. I think it's really cool looking. It's a little more clunky than I thought we would have. I thought we'd have something more streamlined for a speeder bike, but It actually looks kind of cool.
Yeah, and as like BB-8 is going along, of course it goes by pretty fast, but I think those are pod racers, sure.
Yeah, I thought I recognized that.
So that's definitely cool. Kind of throwback to, the prequels and then any kind of other material where pod racers, which I think is cool. Which kind of, because they say, you have to have the Force, if you're a human to ride pods. So we're going to kind of see maybe Rey having, I don't know, gaining money and stuff by racing pods. We can see that, the next, like, clip we see is, her on it looks like the pod racer engine.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, that was, like, that really cool speeder. And there's a rumor that I read, and I believe it was in Empire magazine, that the ball droid was Rey's, and that she kind of worked for, like, a mysterious older gentleman who's going to be played by Max von Sydow on Tatooine. So that could be, and that it's gathering information for him through her. So... because we still don't know what character he's playing, so... Right,
I'll definitely be curious about that.
Yeah, me too.
Really excited.
And, I mean, we all thought... I think there was a general consensus of the fandom that Daisy Ridley was going to be Han and Leia's child. Right. And it doesn't look like she is. So So that was a big surprise.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, because I don't think Han and Leia would have left their child on Tatooine.
Yeah.
Because neither one of them care for that planet. And, they would be the ones to raise their children. It wouldn't be like they had a fear of the Empire or hunting down a possible Force-sensitive child. If she is indeed.
I mean, you never know. I mean, by this time, she's like,
She's like 15, 16.
Yeah, I mean, she's obviously a lot older, so it just kind of depends on what age she's playing.
Right, and we don't know. I just think that kind of led me to believe that somebody else was going to be, if Han and Leia have kids, that we haven't met them yet. We haven't met them in the trailer, and maybe they're being cast by unknowns.
Right.
And then I thought, well, maybe Oscar Isaac's character, because he's one of the X-Wing pilots, but then they released his name, and he's not a solo. His name is Poe Dameron, so I don't know. I mean, maybe they didn't have kids.
Right. And I can tell that really everyone, in general, this is a very serious trailer, of course. So everyone just seems like they're in distress.
Everybody was very intense. There were, the fleeing of everybody's kind of running away from something.
Right. So I thought it was interesting like you said, Poe Dameron. I thought, when you hear Poe, I immediately think, Edgar Allan Poe.
Right.
And I think that's definitely cool that we're going to see, X-Wings, they're a little, and several months ago we saw that X-Wing. We saw JJ, standing in front of one. Right,
and it looks a little different than the X-Wings. I mean, it's got the same basic formation, but it seems to have a different profile. So I just love the look of it. I think it just looks so much sleeker, and that I've never seen it near water.
Yeah, that was very cool.
Oh my god! And of course everybody online's saying, "Oh my god, that's the same lake that they use in Harry Potter." And I was like, "That would be doubly cool."
Yes.
As a Harry Potter nerd, I appreciate that.
Yes,
and
I know.
It really does. But I mean, we've only seen that in space, that ship in space, or in a Dagobah swamp.
Right.
So seeing what it can do on a more terrarian level, like closer to the planet, is...
Well, we did see it on Yavin 4.
Well, that's true, but it was...
Not very long.
Not very long. They took off from there.
Right.
But we've never seen it, like, skim the water like that, and that was just such an amazing idea.
Right.
So whatever's going on there, I'm just like so happy with how it looked. I mean, I don't care if they were going fishing off of those things. It just looked fantastic.
Yeah, that would be very cool. See maybe if I don't know, make the X-Wing like float or something. They just kind of open. They just kind of throw a fishing line out.
Just let it hover there and have Poe and the other X-Wing pilots just kind of putting their poles out there.
Big goober fish.
There's always a bigger fish.
Big goober fish. Oh. Oh my gosh. So yeah, and I know people were saying on Poe's uniform was flight suit. It says pull to inflate or no to pull to eject.
So we have a more terrestrial vehicle that maybe when it's not in space, it can actually be you can actually eject from it, because I wouldn't do it in space.
Right, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like I don't really know much about that language or the writing of.
The writing is like it's the basic of like what the language I speak, the English language in Star Wars is called Basic, and that's how it's written. Because you never see words written in English in Star Wars. You always see the symbols, and that's the basic alphabet.
Yeah, for the few times, but really we don't really see much writing. We don't really see any kind of like recording devices or.
It's usually been on like computer screens or navigational screens, like in the X-Wing when R2 is talking to Luke. Like you see the comm screen in the X-Wing, and you see those symbols.
I'm pretty sure it was actually in our alphabet.
No, it was the symbols.
Oh really? Oh.
Yeah.
All right, because I have to do that again.
Written basic. I think it's like in Doctor Who you have circular Gallifrey, and in Star Wars that's basic.
No, I know.
Because it's what everybody can read, even though we can't. But they don't. You're right. They don't use it a lot. You just see you see it on like screens, like when they're in Return of the Jedi, when the shuttle is trying to get to Endor, and it comes up on the Star Destroyers, or it comes up on the Imperial screen, and it has like the blueprint almost of the Tidarian shuttle. Then you see that writing too.
So, what did you think of this new these stormtroopers? We'd seen the new helmet, but this is the first time we'd actually seen stormtroopers actually in a
formation. Yeah, I love the sleek look of the helmet. I think it's a great way to modernize it, because not knowing if we were going to get stormtroopers, I had no idea what they were going to do if we're just going to have the same helmets. I already know a couple guys in the 501st are trying to make those right now.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
But we haven't seen the whole uniform. We've seen like the upper torso. We've seen the helmet. I just think that's such a beautiful streamlined design. It's it's definitely progressed since the original trilogy, and hopefully provides a little more protection for the stormtroopers. Because pretty much you got shot. The stormtrooper gets shot with that armor on. It's like they're dead. I mean,
right.
the armor didn't really provide a whole lot of protection. I'm curious to see how well they shoot.
Right.
Maybe they've improved the visuals on the stormtrooper helmet so they can actually see better. I just thought it was so cool looking. I cannot wait for figures and statues of those guys.
Yeah, I kind of got a combination of clone trooper armor and stormtrooper armor.
Oh yeah,
to be honest. Like you said, very sleek. Definitely looked cool when it was, kind of the lights were kind of like the light was kind of flashing.
They're shiny.
Very shiny. You're right. I think someone pointed out that they freeze framed it and they saw that there was one stormtrooper that wasn't as tall as the other ones. So
a little short for a stormtrooper.
So I don't know. Maybe that's John Boyega's character that somehow, I don't know, somehow got separated from the others or some kind of instance. You never know.
Right. I think it's just we're going to find out, and it's going to be epic. So
it's we saw the landing craft. We saw the door, the ramp open, but there's some speculation about what it could be, but it's really blurry. We just see like just a bunch of wind kind of coming out. We see them kind of walking down, kind of creeping down. Yeah,
we don't know what planet they're on. They could be on a very stormy planet. We don't know what weather conditions. It was almost kind of like as windy as Camino.
Right.
Maybe they were jumping. We didn't really see where the ramp led off to. Maybe they were going to be. Maybe they're paratroopers.
That would definitely be a cool thing.
Because we haven't had that before, and I think that would be really, really cool. But, you never know with Star Wars what you're going to get.
And with technology now, it's really, the sky's the limit when it comes to designing Stormtrooper, Imperial officers and such, because, previously, we mainly just kind of stuck to the, regular Stormtrooper.
Right. Right. And now they need something a little more modern, and maybe that is capable of doing more and stronger material.
Right. Even the prequels, the clone troopers, for the most part, were pretty standard.
Right. You could see how they became the stormtroopers. And I think that's what George was going for, was to show the progression of, okay, we started as clone troopers. Now, as we get closer to the original trilogy, they're going to evolve. And you could see that in the Clone Wars. You could see how the helmets kind of became more and more Stormtrooper-like as we go on.
Right. So, and like we said before, it's just like so. I think some people kind of suspect is this a real? Because for the last month or so, we've gotten all these like fake trailers and stuff, and even after that, they started parodying the trailers, and
there's already a Lego trailer.
And I think some people were like, is this real? Because it just didn't really feel so much like a teaser. Granted, they don't really feel it's time, or perhaps also not ready to have kind of a traditional trailer where it's very, it's just one image to another. There's not a lot of cut to black. Right.
I think we'll get that closer, possibly to Celebration 7 in April. I think they'll release it. I think it'll be a big deal when it's released, and I think the official trailer will probably be released at Celebration, and then it will be released in theaters. Because that's kind of how Star Wars likes to do things, is to give it to the fans first. But that teaser it was exciting, but it left you wanting more. So it's like now I'm looking even more forward to the official trailer.
I must admit, my initial reaction was, I didn't see any original. But as I listened to other people talk about it and ponder myself, I'm like, you know what? I guess that, I'm kind of glad that kind of just stuck to the new, because it's like, almost, here's these new people, but we'll kind of show you the old people. I mean, we'll show you the old faces later. We just kind of want to jump in.
Well, I think that was in that Mark Hamill interview in Empire Online that he said that they all wanted it to be that way because we didn't know these characters. We know Han and Luke and Leia and Chewie and R2 and 3PO, but this movie is really about the next generation of these characters and this struggle, and it makes the most sense to focus on them. And we don't know how much we're going to see of the original group. We know we're going to see some, obviously, because they've been filming for several months. But I think that they were absolutely right to say that this is about the new era of Star Wars. And we'll definitely get, the original guys in the trailer, but I think for the teaser, I think it was absolutely perfect how they did it.
Yeah, I remember, they handed off the script to Kazdan and JJ because I know for one thing is that they wanted to give Han Solo a bigger part.
Right. Because, he's Han Solo.
So, but yeah, you're right, we still don't quite know.
Right, and it's obvious that he was important enough that they delayed shooting for the time that he was recovering from the broken leg on the Millennium Falcon, which is not in the movie, and then it is in the movie, so...
Yeah, so speaking of the Millennium Falcon, we see the Falcon.
Yes.
And that's really the real familiar thing, and in itself, the Falcon is a character, and we know who's flying it,
We know it's either Han or a subset, like a child of Han, because he wouldn't let just anybody fly that if it wasn't him.
And it's really like when the music kicked in, it's like, this is back where we are, this is
Star Wars. We're reminding you, look, we have all this great stuff coming, but we have to really push home that this is a Star Wars film. And the best way to do that, the most iconic ship from the Star Wars universe, the Millennium Falcon, or as Han calls it, the Falcon.
Right.
I just now got goosebumps when we were talking about it, because that was my favorite part.
Yeah, same.
Because it was like, it's really back. It's really back.
You see, I think it's cool that, it's not in space, it's just flipping around the sky.
It looks like it's over Tatooine, maybe, and the tricks that it's doing, I'm like, I haven't seen a lot of those things before. Right. We've seen it do some of that, but I think I think maybe with the new effects that we have now to use, I think that it looks even sleeker and it looks even more fluid when it moves, because it's not attached to like an arm that has to maneuver it like it did in the original trilogy. And you can watch the originals and still say, oh my god, even today, that's still really good special effects. But just to see how much better special effects have gotten because of Star Wars, it makes me so happy. And seeing the Falcon again, I mean, it was just like the icing on the perfect teaser trailer cake.
So the thing that we have the last thing is the dark side user, Dark Force user. So what did you think of this guy?
That lightsaber. That's character has been revealed to be named Kylo Ren.
Right.
Which I think is a very cool name. And the possibility, the thing that's going around the fandom is that that's Adam Driver and his character, which I could totally see, because he's very tall and he kind of fits that silhouette. But seeing that cape and that very, very cool lightsaber, it just made me so happy. I just thought that is such a cool design. And then I kept thinking, I hope he doesn't burn his hand off when he's using that.
And what people have called it, that it's not a crisp lightsaber. It's very it's almost like burning, It's like,
Yeah, it's new, and I like that it's a new design. And there was somebody did a graphic of the lightsaber and pointing out its characteristics. Well, this is for where the crystals are, and this is this, and then the cross part, those two extra things that make it look like a T. So these are designed to make the fangirls and fanboys go crazy.
Right.
And break the internet. And I'm like, yeah, it really is, because, I mean, when we saw Darth Maul double-sided in Phantom Menace, that just blew our minds. It was like, oh my god, that is the coolest thing ever. I mean, we all ran out and bought the toy version of it. I remember, because I was at Toys R Us at midnight.
Right.
And so I love that they're still working and trying to make the lightsabers even cooler. And to me, it just was like, oh, I can't wait to see what the other ones look like now.
I mean, I like this theory that it could be like an ancient design or like an ancient lightsaber someone found.
Right. I think that would be ultra cool. I think if it was like a passed down lightsaber from Sith to Sith, it makes me wonder if the light side lightsabers, the Jedi lightsabers, are going to be as cool looking now. Is Luke still using his lightsaber? And I know that there was a lot of speculation that lightsaber sound we hear at the end is Luke's lightsaber. And then they compared it to the scene in A New Hope where he first turns on the lightsaber that Obi-Wan gives him. And they're like, yeah, it's the same sound. And for me, I have to remind people, he lost that lightsaber down down some weird shaft in Cloud City. And he came back in Jedi with a new lightsaber. So I don't think that's the same lightsaber.
And really, I didn't really get the same sound. I got definitely a much more distinct sound than, the general lightsaber.
Right. It's very possible that it is the lightsaber sound we hear is Luke's lightsaber, but it's, I hate to break my fellow fans' hearts who believe that it's Luke's lightsaber. It might be Luke's lightsaber, but it's not that lightsaber.
I mean, I'm thinking
from the original trilogy, because that one's gone.
I'm gonna guess that that's Adam Driver, pretty sure.
Yeah.
No. And I think so. So Andy Serkis says that actually that is all narrate. Is that even his narration? Is that Andy Serkis' narration?
Yeah, that's him.
And it's the dark side and the light.
Right. It's his lines, and they're lines that he knew would be used in the trailer. So it was shot. I think we'll hear them in the movie. I think we'll hear those lines in the film at some point. He didn't just record it for the trailer. He recorded it as part of his character in the film. Yeah. So we still don't know who he's playing.
Yeah. So I'll definitely be interested about where these voiceovers, there is an awakening. I'm really curious about where that's going to actually happen.
Right. And is he talking to some Jedi, or is he talking to some Sith? Is he talking to Luke? Is Luke? I think the biggest kind of thing a lot of people agree on is that Luke is probably being a hermit. He's off on his own, like Obi-Wan and like Yoda, and maybe this Andy Serkis character finds him and is telling him what's happening, and that's how we get Luke back. But I don't know, but I am so intrigued to see what Andy's going to do. I think aside from Han and the main group, he's the one I'm most curious to see how they work him into it and who he is.
Right. I mean, there's really we talked about it before on RFR, RFE, and Rebels Cast about all these different possibilities that are coming up. And there really are.
Right. This just, I think, knowing a little bit more about it because of the teaser, I think it's actually giving us more questions than we had before. Because now it's not just what are they going to do, what's this. It's, okay, now we've seen this, what does this mean? What is this about? Who is this person? What's their relationship? So the questions are more directed, but I think we have even more questions from the teaser, which is probably the mark of a really great teaser.
And
so we want to know more.
I mean, and even if we're not going to get a new trailer for a few months, I mean, just like we just got these Topps cards on names, we still get more names. I mean, I'm definitely curious what who Max von Sydow is going to...
Right.
Even if we don't see it, you can still, see pictures, other photos.
Right. I think those will come out sometime either around Celebration 7 or... I don't think they'll do it on May the 4th because Avengers Age of Ultron comes out. But sometime around that, I think we'll be getting a lot more information once the movie is more edited together and more of the post-production is done. But I'm very intrigued as to, like you said, who the other actors we know of that are in it, who they are. Like Gwendolyn Christie and Lupita Nyong'o. I really am fascinated by how they're going to use them. And somebody suggested, I think it was in Screen Rant, that they were possibly the Inquisitors, that that the Inquisitors are back.
Yeah, that'll be definitely interesting. And that, because previously the Inquisitors, their purpose was, by the orders of, Darth Vader, is to help track down Jedi.
Right.
But since Vader and the Emperor are gone, what exactly is the function? Is there a new leader has risen up and they think, if we take out these Jedi, it'll be easier to, try to reclaim.
Right.
Something.
That's exactly, I think, what the question is, really. It's like, okay, we know the leaders of the Empire are gone. Who is running the Empire now? Because obviously it hasn't gone away. It's become more streamlined. But who is it? And is it someone that we've met before? Is it someone from the original trilogy? Is it a new character? And how are they connected? And how did they become the leader? So, again, more questions coming out of this teaser than I had even before the teaser.
Right. And something that's good to note is that, it's today we're talking is December 18th, and in 1 year when it comes out.
Yeah, it's not close enough. I want them to spend the time in post-production to make it perfect, but I don't know if I can wait that long. I mean, we thought, to go from hearing as a kid, after Return of the Jedi, there's going to be no more Star Wars movies, was heartbreaking as a little kid. Then we got the prequels, and when Revenge of the Sith, when I saw it for the last time in the theater, I think I saw it 7 times in the theater, I cried, because that was the last Star Wars movie. And so now it's like, oh, I get more Star Wars movies and I cry.
Yeah. And it kind of, speaking of crying, it definitely reminds me of Kevin Smith.
Oh, yeah. I cannot wait for his response to it as well.
When he can finally, talk about more of what he saw.
Right. I will be right there at his, sitting at his feet going, tell me more. Tell me, Kevin. What did you say?
Please please take this woman away. She's creeping me out. She's driving me nuts.
I'm surprised he didn't say that the couple times I've met him. But yeah, I mean, I really look forward, because I know how he kind of feels about the prequels, and I really look forward to hearing if he's that excited from his one visit to the set and saying how cool it's going to be. I have every faith in his judgment. I really would love to hear what Simon Pegg has to say.
Simon Pegg.
I love it, because he's friends with JJ. He's been in several JJ's films. And he is a huge Star Wars fan, but he is famous for hating the prequels. I mean, they even did an episode of Spaced where he burns all of his Star Wars toys. So it's like, if Simon Pegg says, yeah, this is going to be awesome, I know that it's definitely going to be awesome. No matter what, everybody's going to go see this.
And he's supposed to have a guest role, a small role, isn't he not?
I've heard that rumor. He has not confirmed it. Okay. But if it's true, oh my god, do you know how the fans are going? I mean, I would just go nuts. But I have so many friends who are not fans of Star Wars, but fans of him, who will go see it. So I think that all these possibilities are just going to bring more and more people to the theater. And if we have a successful Star Wars film, which I don't see how we won't, it paves the way for more.
Right.
And the standalones and the mythologies.
Speaking of standalones, I mean, I'm surprised we haven't got an official, confirmation of the first standalone.
I'm not, because I think they've released a lot of information, and a lot of it's just kind of assumed. I think they already have a director for the first standalone film, and I can't remember who it is, but it's not someone I've that familiar with. The guy who did Godzilla, right? The new Godzilla. I think it's him. And we don't know who it's about. Is it about Mandalorians? Is it about, we know it's not going to be a part of the episode. Is it about Yoda? Is it about Han?
Gareth Edwards.
Yeah, he did the new Godzilla, and I think he's going to do a really nice job on whatever Star Wars film he does, because I think he understands all of that. He understands the big budget, he understands the special effects, and he directs actors really well. So I think we're going to have a really nice standalone film there. I just want to know what it's going to be about.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's Boba Fett because that's the one they keep talking about.
Yeah, I agree.
Which will make me very happy.
Yeah.
I also want a Han Solo standalone, but I want it with him as like a teenager, how he became a part of the Imperial Navy and, rescue Chewbacca and all that. So I don't know about those yet. They're holding back a lot about anything that's not episode 7, except for kind of basic generalities.
Yeah. Yeah, so, it's mostly it about the trailer. Is there anything else? Or the names?
I think we got all the names, and then there's that mysterious Captain Phasma, which I'm kind of hoping is not a real name for the film, because it just seems kind of cheesy. Phasma.
Yeah, Phasma.
Like, it's not really a Star Wars-y name, but if it is, so...
What exactly is the Star Wars-y name?
Well, like Kylo Ren and Poe Dameron, and we don't know what Finn's last name is, but it just seems kind of like in the original, like in the prequels, Captain Typho from the Naboo military and those kind of guys. Captain Rex, but Phasma, really? It's a little weird. It's a little cheesy. So I don't know. That was just a rumor, and I look forward to seeing who our other actors are playing. So I really want to see Lupita Nyong'o and who she's playing, because she is an amazing actress and a fangirl, and I'm just really intrigued by the possibilities that these characters are going through. I really want to see how the dark side fits into all this.
Right. And the dark side, assuming it's is the dark side slowly kind of coming back, because in the prequels, as they said, the Sith had been extinct for a millennium, and they were slowly coming back. So Are they slowly coming back after 30 years or so? I'm not sure.
Or were they really ever really gone? Maybe they were just building up their numbers in the 30 years because of the fall of Darth Vader. It's possible, the Emperor kept a lot of secrets. I mean, I don't think he was pretty good at it. So, I mean, it's possible that they were building it up during, this entire time between the prequels and the originals and throughout. So it's possible that we have, a whole army of Sith.
And I'm going to assume, that the rules have changed for both the Sith and Jedi. It's not what they've normally done.
Right.
Perhaps it's a strategy.
I think that because of the lack of Jedi in the universe, I think that there's probably some new rules. I don't think they'll follow all the rules of the Old Order.
Hey, what's that? Is that a fan?
That's the heater in the house.
Oh.
So it'll go off soon. But it's... Yeah, I'm very curious as to see how they're going to bring back the Jedi and the Sith and what the new rules are going to be.
I mean, it's hard to imagine, like a whole field of like Jedi and Sith going at each other.
Yep.
Even at the end of this sequel, it's hard to imagine seeing that.
Yeah, because we're always told, there are always two, a master and an apprentice. Well, that's true in training. But, if you go to, read some of the older comic books that could take place during the era where the Sith kind of reigned, there were lots of Sith.
Right.
I don't think we'll have a field of them. I think we'll have a nice number of them kind of scattered throughout.
Because the original rule, too, eventually kind of led to their downfall.
Right, and it was really, I think a lot of people misunderstand the rule of two, is that that's not all there is in the universe. That's just, as you're training, you have a master and an apprentice. And you're kind of tied to each other until one of you is killed, kind of like with the story of Darth Plagueis. And the next one, and then the next one comes out. Because there are more than two Sith in the galaxy at a time. It's not just once one is dead, another one pops up. It's just that's a training.
It's a big galaxy.
And like with the Jedi, there's a master and apprentice. You can't take on two apprentices. You can't take on two Padawans, which is
against the code. And I'm also curious about, I think all these rules, all these rules that the Jedi and the Senate, they'd all kind of they've gotten very political. So, I mean, how much of that stuff is going to come back, or is Luke going to kind of start a more Zen kind of way of training him, kind of like how he was taught versus the Jedi Council?
Exactly. And yeah, I mean, the council kind of became like a bureaucracy and something that some of the Jedi fought against. Like Qui-Gon, he didn't agree with the council, and that's why he didn't become a member of the council when he was, offered that position. So I think Luke it'll probably be more pure training, like you said, like he went through with Obi-Wan and with Yoda. I think the kid, he'll start them younger if that's what he's doing, because he was too old for training. But, I don't know. I think that it will follow more what George wanted of Jedi training than the EU kind of took over with where Jedi could get married and Jedi could do all these things. And George was like, yeah, no, they can't. I think it'll follow what he really wanted for the Jedi and their and how they live their lives. He says they're monks. Some of them are isolated, and some of them come together in like a monastic order, like the temple, like with the Jedi Council. So I'm kind of looking forward to that, and because I was kind of with George on, okay, he's a Jedi, he can't get married,
right?
He can't have Ben. I mean, as much as I love the character of Ben Skywalker in the EU, it was just wrong. So.
So I think that's it. There's tons and tons of rumors all the time, but I think we kind of just wanted to get into the biggest stuff.
Right. We want to talk about the names. We want to talk about the teaser, and I think getting our speculation out there.
And it's really hard after seeing these big things. It's almost like any other rumors and stuff. Just seems kind of like just seems very. Just not as important, almost.
Right.
It's just like, before that's all we had is all these rumors and such, and some small rumors, some reports, and some that were just totally ridiculous.
Right.
But now it's just like, what can they top, or at least come close to this? Ideally,
right.
That would be like more set photo. Like
we need more set photo. Yeah, we need more official stuff, because I'm not going to believe leaks. I'm not going to believe people, because what Mark Hamill said, or Andy Serkis said, that people were sending drones over the walls into the studio.
Crazy.
To try to get pictures, and I'm like, well, I probably would do that too, just because that's who I am. But yeah, I think that a lot of our questions kind of were answered with the teaser, and I think the speculation will kind of die down and be more focused on what we've seen so far. And for what we haven't seen, like we haven't seen Gwendolyn Christie, we haven't seen Nikita, we haven't really seen Adam Driver, we haven't seen, so it's like now the speculation is how do our questions fit into what we know already, so I think it'll be more productive conversations.
Right. Okay, I think we can go ahead and wrap this up. So, Nicki, if they want to interact with us and have, fun little conversations, arguments, where can they reach us?
Please come and visit us at Radio Free Endor, at Radio Free Endor on Twitter and on Facebook. And you can find Jonathan at JEBell49er on Twitter, me at iHeartPolson. And we're always around, so please talk to us and answer some of our questions and ask some of your own, because we love interacting with you guys.
So what's going on with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Helicarrier podcast?
Oh my gosh. Well, we've reached the mid-season hiatus, and Agent Carter starts January 6th.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, me too. And we had quite a emotional mid-season finale, which I cried a lot.
Yeah, I'm still a few episodes behind.
I'm not going to say anything else, except it's intriguing and answers some questions and raises more.
Yep, it's always a good thing, and I'm definitely looking forward to. I know episode 7, they did like a trailer, the most views, which isn't really a fair count, because comparing something at the beginning of the summer to something that was just released, totally fair. But 50 Shades of Grey has gotten more views than Star Wars, but it's not that surprising, but considering it's been out a lot longer, but still, and of course, like Ultron, I think was 3 or 4 episodes. Jurassic World was up there. So
Yeah, I think Age of Ultron will get more when the trailer, because the trailer was mostly on the DVD of Guardians of the Galaxy. We got the really big trailer. So I think once it's released to a more wider audience, it will definitely get more views.
So then also, please leave us a review on iTunes if you haven't. Please like the Facebook page and follow us on Twitter if you have not. I'm trying to think of how many people we have, but I think we have 39 likes on the Radio Free Endor page. So if you just make sure everyone is liked there and tell your friends to like it, just kind of like it.
If you like Star Wars, like us, because we love Star Wars.
Of course, there is Rebels Cast, and we're going to get ready to record that one shortly later today. So, finish off Rebels, because finally finish off this mid half. So, because a lot of great Star Wars stuff is happening. It's like George Lucas would say, fast and more intense.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's it. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Nicki.
Thanks for listening.
Bye, guys.